And people in the state didn't like that. She has these lawn signs with her name, Lisa, this big, and Murkowski that big, so you can't, that people can't be reminded that Murkowski, her father, the governor, who has become quite unpopular, put her in the seat.
Alaska, South Dakota, and Florida unsolved in the Senate races, but the Republicans will definitely control the Senate next time. Only question how many. Let me show you some votes actually in and counted after we tap the map once again. 207 needed to win. We estimate George Bush has 249, Kerry 242. The states in white, we have not estimated either way. Ohio being the big one, 20 electoral votes there. If John Kerry wins that one, he's in the hunt. If he loses it, say goodbye. In Iowa, this is the votes in and counted in Iowa. They've had machine trouble in Iowa. We've mentioned several times, means that we aren't going to really know how Iowa turns out until tomorrow, but 98% of the precincts in and reporting. That's the way the actual vote count looks. Out in Nevada, Anthony Mason mentioned that George Bush has opened up a bit of a lead in Nevada, perhaps enough to win the 5 electoral votes out there. That's with 82 of the precincts reporting. But cautionary note, those provisional ballots, which may become the chads of this election year, provisional ballots could be a factor in Nevada. In New Mexico, land of enchantment is a land of mystery tonight. 5 electoral votes. Nobody knows how it's going to go, but again, George Bush has a lead over John Kerry, and in the votes in and counted with 96% of the precincts in, that lead has been increasing somewhat. In Wisconsin, and the Badger State, 10 electoral votes frequently goes the way Minnesota's gone, and we think Minnesota's gone to Kerry. Kerry leads in Minnesota with 92% of the precincts in and their votes counted. That's the way it looks. In Ohio, the big one of the evening, with its 20 electoral votes, this is the way the votes in and counted looks at the moment. George Bush with 98% of the precincts in and counted leads in Ohio, but remember that they believe that there are maybe 175,000 provisional ballots in Ohio which can't be counted for 8 or 10 days. Dan Rather at CBS News Election Headquarters in New York. We'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Or is it going to be now's the time for healing?
Teresa Heinz Kerry walking into Faneuil Hall with a round of applause. Her friends, her supporters, her family there as well, her son right next to her. This is a moment where the Kerrys and the Edwards, I haven't seen the Edwards side of this family. Have you seen them yet, Jeff, on these pictures?
No, I haven't. I just want to point out that there might be talk of reconciliation and we're all in this together, but very soon it appears that the President of the United States will have his first chance to name a Supreme Court justice. Chief Justice Rehnquist appears to be seriously, if not gravely ill. That fight has been in rehearsal for 4 years in Washington with liberal interest groups and conservative interest groups kind of practicing their techniques on district and federal court nominees. This president has not had a chance to appoint one justice because there hasn't been a vacancy. And again, at the risk of making a prediction, which I can't stand, that battle over a Supreme Court nominee with a more Republican Senate is going to be a barn burner.
All right, Kerry has been introduced now. He's walking in, Senator Kerry. Is going to get a strong, strong round of applause. Here he is, John Kerry and John Edwards. John Edwards walking up first, John Kerry following. They're going to be speaking. We don't know how long, how short, what they'll say. I assume John Edwards will speak first, introduce John Kerry, but then again, we don't know. We haven't been told, but that's what the assumption is. Edwards speaks first, Kerry speaks second, and then we'll listen and we'll wait and we'll see. This is a difficult moment for any politicians. Am I right, Judy and Jeff, John, if you can help me? This is only the second political contest that John Kerry has lost?
That's right. That's right.
Early in his career, he lost a race.
Race for Congress, then he elected lieutenant governor. And one thing that's very difficult for these people to do is not to give their campaign speeches.
Let's see.
They've given them 500 times. It's in their blood at this point. The tape's in their head.
All right, let's listen to John Edwards speak first, and he'll be followed by John Kerry. This team has been together now for some time. They worked extremely hard up till the last moment, doing as best as they could. They had millions and millions of dollars in support, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of volunteers. They had what so many Democratic politicians and strategists thought were so many issues running in their favor, whether it was the economy, which had faltered, the war in Iraq, but not to be.
But you know their hearts are breaking.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it was a long night and a long morning. And even though the outcome won't change, I want you to know that we will continue to fight for every vote. Because every vote matters in our America. And we will honor each one of you who stood with us and who stood in line to change your country. We believe in you. We didn't start fighting for you when this campaign began, and we won't stop fighting for you when this campaign ends. Your cause will always be our cause, and nothing makes John and me prouder than standing with all of you. In this hour, I'm held up by the love of my life, Elizabeth, and by our beautiful children. And I draw great strength by standing with the man I fought alongside with the last 4 months, his beautiful wife, Teresa, and his wonderful daughters and sons. John Kerry is a great American. To be a part of the most important election of our lifetime and to fight for so many things of value and consequence, it was nothing short of an honor to work with such a kind, caring, and remarkable man. You cannot fight 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, unless you love America. And John loves this country. In this campaign, we worked hard. And we hoped that the results would be different. And I want to talk to the tens of millions of people who worked alongside us, who believed in our cause, and who stood with us. You can be disappointed, but you cannot walk away. This fight has just begun. Together, we will carry on, and we will be with you every step of the way. You stood in line for 10 hours because you want your government to stand up for you. You stood in the rain to vote because you want to build one America. You missed classes, field hockey, soccer practices. You stood for hours and hours to let your voices be heard. Well, we heard you, and I want you to hear me. This campaign may end today, but the battle for you and the hardworking Americans who built this country rages on. The battle rages for the factory worker and the mill worker who says, I want to work, I just want a job. The battle rages on for the mother who sits in the emergency room with her daughter and wonders how she's going to pay the bill. The battle rages on for the young person who's worked hard and wants to go to college but doesn't have the money to pay for it. It goes on for the young child who doesn't understand why they're treated differently just because of the color of their skin. And it rages on for the mother who wants to know why her son was sent over there and will not come home. This fight will continue in our homes and in our union halls, in our churches and in our schools, in our offices and over the internet. We will keep marching toward that one America, and we're not going to stop until we get there.